Thanks for joining us on Breaking the News. Let's talk education because the report cards are in and they are not looking great for national test scores for our K-12 students. The scores, most of you remember us talking about it, they took a nosedive during COVID, but many in education were hoping they would bounce back by this year especially, but it's just not happening yet. So Gordon's on the show to take a closer look at what this report card is saying and where our students are still struggling.
Yeah, nationwide, there was some slight improvement when it comes to math. For fourth graders, the scores went up slightly, and for eighth graders, they stayed flat. That's the good news. The bad news is fourth and eighth grade reading scores went down last year, continuing a downward trend that started during the pandemic.
I'm not surprised at all.
While many educators were hoping for better test scores this year, University of St. Thomas education professor Shelda Smith-Kondo says that hope wasn't realistic.
So many students didn't have their basic needs met. It's not surprising that their academic gains aren't there.
Especially when it comes to reading. Kondo says the shift to more screen time is having a stronger impact on our students than many people realize.
We're not seeing necessarily that students don't know how to read as much as we're seeing that they don't always know what they read, understand it well, able to apply it somewhere else, and also have the ability to sustain an attention to keep reading.
Another concerning trend for Kondo is the gap between high-performing and low-performing students is growing. High performers scored even higher in 2024, whereas most average to low-performing students showed even lower scores than 2 years ago. However, locally,
Minnesota has always paid attention to how do we make sure we close that gap.
Kondo says the gaps in Minnesota aren't widening like the rest of the country, and Minnesota students did perform better overall this year. In reading, the scores were essentially flat in both 4th and 8th grade, and the math scores went up slightly. So even though the bounce back isn't happening as quickly as many were hoping, Kondo says it will happen. It will just take some time.
I can see in about 5 to 7 years where we not only will get back up to those levels pre-pandemic, but also exceed them.
And Jenna, naturally everyone is going to have a different view of these test results. Some educators online are really sounding the alarm right now. Politicians, teachers unions, they're also reacting to this and inserting their own agendas right now.
Which is why we wanted to have you on to talk about it, to just give us the data first before it gets politicized.
For sure.
Yeah, what does it mean? Any indication why up in math across the board?
Nothing that I could really see, but the reading, a lot of it was just, that so much has changed when it comes to students engaging with books. And if you remember back to the pandemic, everyone was on screens before screens were just for entertainment, watching TV, playing video games. But this expert that I interviewed said that screens really became a part of everyday life for education, for even communicating, talking to people because we couldn't go outside. And we're still seeing some of the impacts with that. And that's why reading especially is seeing that impact.
Makes sense. Thanks, Gordon. We'll be